Welcome back to you. This is Stevie B on KFM. My producer's looking at me here as if we are doing something that we shouldn't be doing, but everything is looking good at the moment. We're going to give you our Twitter address because I am now tweeting. I have got 54 followers. How many followers have you got, John?
More than 54.
Okay. Well, in fairness, we've just started.
Yeah, I've been going for a while. So I think it's coming up for around 8,000.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm far short of 330,000.
Yeah, well, we
set yourself yesterday.
We're not rock stars. We're not trying to be we're not trying to be rock stars.
We're trying, but we're not doing it.
Are you going to be a rock star tonight on the show? What can we face up to tonight, John?
Fairly serious stuff, Steve. 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children. We're pretty much midway through that, so time to assess. Is it making a difference in 2012? Has it made a difference over the years? Looking forward to calls.
Excellent. I'll be listening to it on the way home. Make sure you don't miss Today with John Pillman.
Kaya PM Biz with Stevie B. Only on Kaya FM. You have no business listening to anyone else.
We'll be back with you in February with fantastic workshops. Don't forget. Now, every Wednesday at this time, we look at people that make a difference in the world. And that's what we try to do on Kaya Biz. People who are entrepreneurs. And my next guest, well, I can hardly see him because the microphone is in the front. Can you just drop the microphone there, Eddie G, one of the top DJs? There we go. Lizwe Nkala, founder of Flamingo Moon Company. I was going through the Entrepreneur magazine, and in fact, there was an article on me on page 44. If you want to check it out, yes, Eddie G, there's a whole page. In fact, 2 pages on me in the new Entrepreneur magazine. Sure, there is, but that's not why I was looking. I saw that a while back. But I saw an interesting story about today's entrepreneur, Lizwe Nkala, founder of African business consulting firm Flamingo Moon, which began life as a boot out of a car operation. That's like Herman Mashaba also had that type of operation. Lizwe, man, welcome to the show. Great to have you aboard.
Thank you very much, Stevie. I really appreciate being here.
What did you think of our new studios? Because I know when I walked in and I met you a little bit earlier, you seemed to be really impressed.
I tell you what, I'm not too sure who did the design or who got the design brief, but it's an excellent setup.
They've done a good job here.
You really feel it. You know, when you walk in, you sense where you are. There's a lot of creativity. There's a lot of art in it. So yeah, job well done.
Also, must be said, a great vision from our MD, station manager, and financial manager as well.
Absolutely.
Now, let's not talk about them. Let's talk about you. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, becoming an entrepreneur. Where did it all start for you?
Stevie, it's an interesting question. I come from a very deep corporate background. I was trained in marketing, but before that I was actually a teacher. So I also come from an educational background. I was an academic. And then I went into corporate. But in the process of really doing what I was doing, I kept on sort of feeling that there must be something more. But it was not until I found my passion. The time when I sort of tried different careers. If you look at my career, it's a checkered flag. I did everything. I taught, I did sales, I was in manufacturing, I went into advertising, I was in finance. So I went across everything. But it's the moment when I found strategy as my passion that I really felt I could do more with it. And at that point, I set on a course. And I said, right at my prime, I would actually be running my own strategy consulting company. And that's how it started.
Tell us, what formal education did you have before all this started?
Well, it's quite interesting. I majored in African languages and literature as my degree. So,
wow.
So actually, I had nothing to do with commercial life at all. When I finished my undergraduate degree, I absolutely knew nothing about commerce, and I found myself having to start literally from scratch. And
Lizwe, I'm okay. That was breaking news. 25 years. Let's get back to Lizwe Nkala, founder of Flamingo Moon Company. You were telling us about your tertiary education, and you study languages. What motivated you into running your own company?
Well, I think, like I said, the first thing was I needed to really follow my passion. I think that was the first thing. And then secondly, I just looked at everybody who sort of built their own companies in the past, and that somewhat inspired me to believe I can actually do more. I can do better than just sitting in a corporate and dreaming about my passion and never standing up to actually do it.
Right. Yeah. Now, we read something very interesting about you in the article in the Entrepreneur magazine. You had already been running your business for 2 years when you read an article that completely changed your perception of what it means to be successful. Can you share that with us?
Yes, Stevie, it's an interesting one. It was a wake-up call for me.
Is that so?
Absolutely. This article basically said, there's 99% of people in the world who sell their time, and there's a 1%, a minute component of people actually buy time.
Yes.
And essentially, those people who understand that the more time you have in a day is the only thing, or is the only way you can actually build an empire, is the only way you can build a business. So that kind of changed my perception and my understanding, and even sort of running my business from the boot of my car, I actually realized that as long as I'm a one-man band, there is no ways I will actually be able to build my company. So that changed my understanding altogether.
Let's talk about Flamingo Moon. What do you guys actually do?
Steve, at the heart of our business, we are essentially a strategy consulting company. But because strategy is the origination of everything, when you go into any organization and you look at the strategy, you understand what their investment plans are, you understand what their growth ambitions are, you understand what sort of systems they need to put in. So it gives you a vantage point with which to look at a business. So from strategy, we are then able to offer other services, and that's really been the impetus of our growth. We've been able to go into companies, talk to the top teams. We basically work right at the apex of the company. We talk to CEOs a lot, we talk to boards a lot, and that's allowing us to basically expand our business. But strategy is pretty much the heart of everything we do.
How has your business grown compared to when you started it 2 years ago? What really has changed?
I'll tell you, the main thing that has changed is when I started, I sort of moved into, you kind of come from corporate where you've got everything. You've got an assistant, you've got systems, you've got processes, and these things work like clockwork pretty much. But when you go on your own, which is what we normally hear people saying, I'm doing my own thing. Doing your own thing is just the one step below actually running a proper business.
Sure.
Because when you do your own thing, you're pretty much doing what you were doing in a corporate, but now you're doing it on your own. The next level, which is exactly what has changed for me over the last 1.5 years or so, it's really been corporatizing the company and building systems and putting processes in, and bringing people in, and so on and so forth. That's really been the big change. And so you start moving from a one-man band to an employer, where you're now beginning to bring talent in, and you're allocating that talent into specific areas of your business.
How do you make it as an entrepreneur? Because I'm sure it's not easy.
It's not easy, Steve. But in actual fact, I find that that's exactly where the adrenaline is. It's actually when you look at the challenge that you're facing that you get inspired to actually take on it head on and really, do everything you can against all odds. And the one thing that's always kind of the signal for me is when I stop thinking about investing in the business, and I start worrying about how I'm going to consume whatever is coming out of the business, I start realizing that I'm on the wrong track. And so the one thing that every entrepreneur out there needs to have is the ability to always think about investing in the asset, growing the asset base that will eventually generate the kind of business that you want to have over time. And that's really where the adrenaline is. When I start seeing the investment opportunities, no matter how much money you're putting into that investment, the key thing is you're actually developing an asset, you're growing an asset. And so it's that shift from a consumption mindset to an investment mindset that is absolutely critical right at the beginning when you start growing your own company.
Some tips, some advice for entrepreneurs out there who are starting out. Actually, before we ask you that, let's just quickly go back, because this is a question that I have to ask you before the last one, is what about funding? Did you have a funding problem? Did you go to the banks? Did you go to friends or family? Or didn't you in fact need funding?
Yeah, I'm glad you're asking the funding question, because I hear it in just about every other entrepreneurial discussion.
Sure.
In our business, well, in my business specifically, I I've focused on a commodity that is probably needing the least amount of funding you can ever think about, because our business is based on thinking. We're packaging thought, and we're taking that thought and actually trading it. So effectively, for every return that we're getting, for every thought that we've packaged, we simply reinvest it in the business. So we actually did not have to take a loan from any bank.
That is great, because it is a question that we like to ask. So advice to listeners out there, just some of the things maybe that you have learned over the time.
As a couple of tips I think I can give to people who want to pursue their own dream out there.
Lovely.
I think the first one is understand that you cannot start a business thinking about money. You've got to start a business thinking about defining the value that you're going to give out to clients or whoever is interested in the services of your business. So that's the first thing you've got to perfect. So you worry about money last. If you develop value, somebody's going to notice that value and they will be prepared to pay for it and pay for what that particular value actually deserves. So that's, for me, tip number one. The second one is most of us start businesses coming out of corporate jobs. And the one thing that you cannot ignore is the fact that you come out of a corporate, you've already built a life around you that is based on a corporate income. And so you go and start your own business, but you've got all of these liabilities that sort of hang on you. They hang on your neck. And if you're going to focus on growing that business and you're worrying about paying all of these things, bonds, cars, big liabilities, there is no way your headspace is going to have enough time to actually focus on what you have to do. So that's a critical discipline that any aspiring entrepreneur out there needs to have. And of course, the third one is the one that we've just highlighted. The whole idea of making sure that when you are in your own business, you actually keep investing in that business. It does not matter how much money you actually put in the business. You can put 1,000 rand into your business on any single day. That 1,000 rand will actually pay back into your business for years and years, centuries to come.
Yeah.
So those for me are probably the critical discipline elements that every aspiring entrepreneur needs to have.
Fantastic. I'm going to go look at your business again. Let's give out some details for people who, like me, would like to learn a lot more about what you guys do.
Okay. I think, anybody listening, go to our website. It's www.flamingomoon.co.za.
Flamingo Moon, one word, eh?
One word, .co.za. Yeah, all the detail is in there.
And all the details there. There you go. flamingomoon.co.za. Lizwe, we'll speak to you again in about 6 months' time. We like to do that with all our entrepreneurs and see how you're heading out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. By the way, last night I said that Caesar, one of our entrepreneurs, had some boerewors rolls, and the stuff's all frozen. It's all freshly frozen. Had overcated for at the Lady Gaga concert. So Bernadette Simon came up with a great idea. She's given him 150 Rand and to buy some of the stuff to give it to charity. I thought, what a wonderful idea that is. So if you want to donate money to Caesar, he's got cold drinks and he's got boerewors rolls and he's got footlong hot dogs. If you want to donate money, he will then take that stuff and he will give it to charity. It will be a fantastic gesture. If you want to do that, you can email me, stevie@kfm.co.za. Thank you to Lizwe and Nkala, our entrepreneur on the move, and thank you to you, and especially to you, for all the great SMSs, emails we get. I'll be back with you tomorrow night.